Riding public transit in Toronto can be an exercise in patience. Today, here along the Bloor line, it's a little bit of a lineup as people wait for shuttle buses. That's because subway service underground is shut down between St. George to Broadview. Now, Monday to Friday, it is the Yonge line here at Yonge Bloor Station, which is the main headache for thousands of commuters during rush hour. And that has some major players at City Hall beating the transit drum as we wait and wait for a downtown relief line.
But it starts all the way up at Shepherd and all the way down to Union Station. It is mad panic.
Jumping on the Yonge line during rush hour is anything but easy breezy.
You're packed like sardines. There's no other way of describing it. The quality of service is poor. You are intimate with people that you don't want to be intimate with. It's really tight.
For decades, the City of Toronto has been debating the merits of the downtown relief line. Finally, we can see the much-needed tunnel in our sights, but it's going to take a while before the train pulls into station.
The earliest the downtown relief line is going to be available is 2031.
What do you imagine you'll be doing in 2031?
Probably retired and living in Salt Spring, BC at that point.
There'll be no use to you by then.
No, it won't be.
Probably be in an old age home.
Shepherd or
for the need to bridge the gap until then, Councillor Joe Mahevic has a motion going before the Transit Commission, which is asking the city to look into a range of options from express buses on Bay Street to having the Yonge line train stop at alternate stations to surge pricing during peak hours.
But if you're riding between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, it's going to cost you an extra 50 cents. And that way, that's a discouragement. And that way, you'll get into work maybe a little bit earlier, say starting at 6 o'clock.
Recently, Mayor Tory sent TTC CEO Andy Byford this letter, which in part reads, "I'm writing to ask whether in the meantime there are any other opportunities to pursue capacity on Line 1 and relieve some of the capacity issues experienced at Yonge Bloor subway station."
I think we need relief before the relief line.
Though surge pricing for the mayor is a non-starter.
I think people are paying enough for the TTC. We are introducing a program this year to help really low-income people and those on social assistance to get a bit of relief. But I think the idea of charging people a lot more, except for something like an express bus service, which we do now, is not something that I'm very interested in.
Though transit expert and Ryerson professor Murtaza Haider believes if subsidized correctly, surge pricing could be beneficial, helping encourage downtown companies to let their employees start their workday at different times.
We don't have capacity anymore on line 1 and line 2, so therefore we need to start thinking of creative ways to spread the peak. It's called peak spreading, and the way to do it is to allow people to start work late.
What do we do in the next 20 years? Do we just continue with this chaos and this heavy pressure on Yonge Street, or do we find some interim solutions?
Councillor Joe Mahevic's transit pitch will be going before the Toronto Transit Commission this Thursday.